Welcome to the morning edition of Boomer Bust the Draft Show, where no one is awake yet, and we just did 10 minutes and didn't record. So here we go. Welcome to the show. Glad everyone's doing well. Get a popcorn, get a
I didn't even
drink,
fumble my words.
get on the
that time.
couch. Love that for us. Let's go,
That was
team.
so good. That was such a good take. Welcome to another episode of Boom or Bust, the draft show. Max Chadwick alongside Tate, Sigworth, and Nick Merriam breaking down Alabama offensive tackle Evan Neal. Going to go over his strengths, weaknesses, where he ranks for us on our boards, give player comps for him, and what NFL teams he might fit at the next level. Before we start the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to follow our Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Boom or Bust Draft, or on YouTube. Anywhere you get your podcast, please subscribe there and check out our merch store. And please continue supporting us, because support for us is brought to you by that right there, Manscaped. The Olympics, Euros, baseball, major championships, and concerts are all in this summer. You know what isn't? A wild and hairy bush. Tame your pubes with help from our friends at Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Their fourth-generation performance package includes the brand new Lawnmower 4.0, which you can see right there. If an athlete treats their body like royalty, why not treat your pubes like Olympic gold? Fellas, do right by your balls and join the 2,000,003 men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com with the code BOOM or BUST. That's BOOM or BUST, all caps, no spaces, for 20% off and free shipping. Boom or Bust at manscaped.com. Achieve pubic glory this year with Manscaped. So let's go over Evan Neal. He's a junior, 6'7", 360 pounds. This guy is a massive human being. Former five-star recruit, number 7 overall, number 1 offensive tackle in 2019 coming out of Florida. He started at left guard in 2019 as a true freshman, then right tackle in 2020. He'll play his third position in 3 years when he takes over for Alex Leatherwood at left tackle in 2021, and he was a freshman All-American in 2019. So, Tate, let's start with you. When you watch Evan Neal, what do you like the most?
I mean, the first and most obvious thing is the man is just huge. The man is just straight up massive, just a ginormous frame. Only 3 offensive tackles in the NFL are bigger than 350 pounds. Mekhi Becton, Trent Brown, and Max's boy on the Steelers, Zach Banner. Excellent offensive tackle, right, Max? So being huge obviously gives just a large amount of power. The punch, the stun move that he has just can neutralize edge rushers immediately. But he doesn't sacrifice mobility. I think that's the biggest key. Being 6'7", 360 pounds, he's a huge man, but he's still pretty mobile for his size, something that you maybe wouldn't expect. The versatility obviously is another thing to point out. Played guard in 2019 and tackle in 2020, like Max mentioned. He's going to benefit from another full year of development on the outside. Make his game even better. And he's never really had a bad game. There's games where he gives up like a sack, but that's rare. That's very occasional. He just doesn't have any horrible games on his tape. And also had to pedigree, 5-star recruit, unanimous 5-star recruit. So yeah, the man is huge. The man is mobile. The man is very good.
Yeah, he's huge and mobile. Generally things that we like to see out of tackles in college. But I think what's important is that he is on a further along his development curve than I think most big mobile tackles we see. The guy that comes into my head most recently is Mekhi Becton. And he was better technically than most guys coming out, but still had some ways to go. Obviously, it worked out, it looks like, with the Jets. But I would say right now, Neal's path in terms of technical ability is where Becton's was when he came out for the draft in 2020? Yeah,
2020. Yeah.
2020. And so he's got a whole nother year now to develop. He's going to get more experience playing on the left side of the offensive line. That mobility obviously works in space. It's helpful in the run game. He really drives his legs well, and he's just powerful. When he down blocks and gets his shoulders into guys, they're just not going anywhere. He's moving you backwards. He has the most deadly punch I've seen from a prospect, ever. He just knocks guys straight to the ground when he hits you right. And then when you talk about his hand placement, it's generally pretty. He gets guys in the middle. He's not grabby. He's not rushing. He's not the most technically sound tackle I've ever seen, but for where he is in terms of size and athleticism, it's impressive. And with another year coming, it gives him a good chance to be a high draft pick in this year's draft.
Yeah, you guys mentioned it all basically. The size, the movement skills, they are rare. You don't see that guys. First of all, you don't see offensive tackles that are that big. And then second of all, when they are that big, they're usually terrible athletes. And Evan Neal is not that. Like he's 6'7", 360, and he's a really good athlete. Dominant run blocker, like you guys said. Like he just moves dudes. He's a people mover in the run game. He's a pretty good pass protection too. I think there is work to be made there, but I think his feet are really good. And like Nick said, like the technique, it needs a little bit of work, but he's got a really, really good starting ground right now. And you guys mentioned it, like I said, a freak athlete. There's a box jump video that's going around on social media where he literally just like jumps in between two boxes, one leg at one box, another leg in the other box. And some people were like, this is illegal in like 35 out of 50 states. Like this guy is a freak athlete at 6'7", 360 pounds, which is outrageous. So Nick, what do you think his weaknesses are though?
Not many, but we talked about mobility. The reason I'm hesitant to say he's like the most mobile guy ever is I think his lateral quickness needs a little bit of work. His footwork's not bad. It's just, I think his maybe awareness or his vision needs a little bit of time. That could be experience. That could be getting more reps, seeing more different types of pass rush moves, which he'll definitely get on the left side of the O-line. This will be going up against conceivably like better pass rushers, but we'll see. The footwork, you know, if he's not an elite quickness type guy with his foot speed, but I do think he can get beat with speed. It's just is the problem that he actually just can't move or laterally, or is he's not seeing things correctly and he's just basing his ability to block based on feeling guys around him? That could just be an experience thing. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, his biggest weakness right now is the speed rusher. His Tate versus Brendan Cox versus Florida was questionable at times. Brendan Cox just dusted him around the edge a few times, which happens when you're 6'7", 360 pounds. Yeah, the mobility is good, but, you know, being that size, it's kind of a qualifier that he's good mobility for his size. Compared to other tackles, his mobility is going to be a little less. So versus speed rusher, sometimes he gets beat, sometimes he has to lunge and kind of like make up for it. So that's definitely going to be a weakness at the next level. Sometimes I think maybe he gets too vertical. I mean, he is 6'7", maybe gets too upright sometimes, but not really worried about that too much. And then obviously, you know, watch the weight. He's kind of saw it with Tyler Shelvin in this past draft cycle. I'm not saying this is Tyler Shelvin 2.0, but, you know, 360 pounds is already on the heavier side. So just watch the weight. You know, you're already pushing it a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think he does have to watch the weight a little bit. And yeah, he is. When we say that, you know, he's a freak athlete, it's because he is that big and he's athletic. Like I said, usually they can't move at all. We saw that with Deontay Brown, the Alabama guard, where it's like this guy's huge, but he cannot move at all.
No.
Evan Neal is not like that, but it's not like he's like moving like a 300-pounder at tackle. Like this guy still can get beat with speed. A big thing I saw when I watched his tape is he kind of gets off balance a lot. He plays out on his toes a lot. I think that's a lot of it to do with him being a really aggressive. Like he's going for the kill shot every play. And there were a couple times, especially there was one play against DeMarvin Leal where Leal just like went by him and Evan Neal just fell to the ground. Like that, the balance he's got to get a little bit more on his feet because he plays out over his toes a lot, which can get him off balance a lot. So I think the balance is one of the biggest things. And yeah, you know, trying to get a little bit better footwork and pass protection and everything just because he is really big and he's got good mobility. But again, it's not like a 315-pound offensive tackle. But Tate, give me the bottom line on Evan Neal, where he ranks for you, player comp, any team fits the next level.
Let's see. His big board's still coming together, so I don't know exactly where he is on the big board. Probably top 10. OT1, maybe 2. Maybe there's a little Buckeye, sneaky Buckeye that could be OT1. We'll talk about him at a later date. But yeah, my goal in my comp, Trent Brown. It's kind of tough when you have tackles these big. The selection, the sample pool of players to really choose from is obviously much smaller. Neal's probably more mobile, but I see similarities in kind of the way they go about, you know, their movement and blocking when you watch the tape. So Trent Brown, probably OT1, and let's go top 10.
Yeah, it's going to be top 10 for me, too. Probably, like, back end of that top 10. He is my tackle 1, it looks like. Of course, we will discuss that Ohio State tackle later. Probably. I think that's what we got the show.
His name will come up at some point.
Yeah, probably. As well as many others.
I hope so.
Stay locked in for coverage, folks.
We do make videos and content. So comp, you know, it's tough to just comp him to, like, big guys. So just trying to look for a dude who I think is similar skill set. This guy isn't as he's 6'8", 350. Jordan Mailata, tackle for the Eagles. I think he's going to end up being their long-term left tackle at starter. I think he's better than Andre Dillard. And the similarity here is that Mailata, rugby player, gotta punch that out there.
He gotta get the one out.
A sport that really, really emphasizes vertical movement over lateral movement, which I think fits what Evan Neal is. Also, one last jab to put in there, just because I love picking on the Raiders. Evan Neal was the best Alabama tackle last year. We can agree on that, right?
Yeah. Yes, he was. Evan Neal. I love picking on the Raiders. Evan, 8th overall for me right now, number 1 tackle. The player comp, this is easy. It's probably the player comp a lot of people have, but Mekhi Becton, similar. Like we saw it, like it was the same. It was so reminiscent of what we said in 2020. Like this guy's like, wow, this guy's huge, but man, he can move and man, he can kill people. But also the pass protection, like Mekhi Becton's pass pro concerns coming out were serious. Like they were actual real concerns. Evan Neal, like we have similar concerns. I don't know if they're as much, but like we saw, like Mekhi Becton, like when you're that big and you're that mobile, like that works in the NFL. Like you can fix up the pass pro, but like there are not a lot of people with those kind of tools. And I think Mekhi Becton and Evan Neal have those tools. Team fit, the Giants, I know they drafted Andrew Thomas. And I like him. I think they could use a right tackle though. The Panthers, the Dolphins, who only have the 49ers pick this year, so don't know if I don't think it'll be a top 10 pick. We'll see. Team who I think will be picking top 10, my Pittsburgh Steelers, who desperately need offensive line help. And I think Evan Neal would fit really well because he's a great run blocker. And the Steelers are probably like, oh, Najee Harris, Evan Neal, this is great. Which, would be actually a pick I like. And then the Jets. I think Jets will be fun because they kind of need a right tackle. I don't love George Fant. And, man, if you can get Mekhi
Morgan.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. They do have Morgan Moses. Yeah, we'll see.
I think he's a 1-year deal though, right?
So okay, yeah, it's fair. But also
that would be a brick wall. Mekhi Becton and Evan Neal. Holy cow!
Yeah, the Jets, like they kind of need him, but it's also just for the fact like get Mekhi Becton and Evan Neal on the same field because that'll be
just stand there. We're good. You don't have to do anything.
Don't do anything. So that's it. That's what we got on Evan Neal. And I don't know if we mentioned this. This could be the 4th straight year that there's an Alabama offensive tackle in the first round because you had Jonah Williams, then you had in 2020 Jedrick Wills, and then you had Alex Leatherwood.
First round pick, Alex Leatherwood.
Alex Leatherwood to the Las Vegas Raiders. And then Evan Neal now is probably going to be a first round pick. I'd be pretty surprised if he wasn't. But that's what we got in Evan Neal. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think about Evan Neal. Is he the best offensive lineman in 2022? I'm going to say offensive lineman because I think OT, everyone's kind of got Evan Neal. But offensive lineman, man, there's a center in Iowa, Tyler Linderbaum, who everyone loves, including, I think, all 3 of us. So I'm going to say who's the best offensive lineman in 2022. Comment what video you want to do next. Follow our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, @BoomerBustDraft, or leave a review in our podcast. Check out the website below. Hit our merch store. And, of course, please help out our good friends at Manscaped by going to manscaped.com, using the promo code BoomerBust, BoomerBust, all caps, no spaces, for 20% off and free shipping. So for Tate Sigworth and Nick Merriam, I'm Max Chadwick. Have a great night.